Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be jumping into the new festival event, which is going to be Historic Artisan. This one is another 2,500 gold entry fee for simply card styles and access to the format. So for this one, you get Valky, aka Tybalt, you get Torolf, aka Thor, and Vega, aka... Oh, what's the name of Odin's owl? Is it owl? I don't know. Either way, Vega. So today what we're going to be doing is playing a list that was requested, and also one of the cards that I kind of want to build around in Historic Artisan specifically, because I think it's completely unplayable outside of it. We're going to be playing Spider Spawning. 5 mana sorcery, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach for each creature card in your graveyard, and then it also has a flashback as well for 6 and black, putting us essentially into Golgari to do it all over again. So the idea behind this deck is that we're going to be self-milling like crazy, and maybe flipping over some spider spawnings as we go. But if we have some in hand, then it's a 5 mana go wide strategy to hopefully beat down our opponent with too many 1/2s. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, we've got lots and lots of self-mill strategies in here. So we've got Stitcher Supplier, Maya Triton, Glowspore Shaman, Gorging Vulture, and I believe a little bit of Acolyte of Affliction as well. So, Stitcher Supplier mills 3, and then mills 3 when it dies. Maya Triton is a death-touching 2/1, so a great blocker, mills 2 and gains 2. Glowspore Shaman, really nice early game, 2 mana 3/1, so it's a very good blocker. Mills 3, and then we can put a land on top of our library if we are concerned about missing land drops. We've got Gorging Vulture, which is a 3 mana 2/2 flyer, enters the battlefield, mills 4, gains 1 life for each creature card put into your graveyard this way, which most of our deck is creatures to enable the spider spawning. We'll get to that in just a second. And then 3 copies of Acolyte of Affliction as well, 4 mana 2/3, mills 2, and then you return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So primarily the permanents we're going to be returning are going to be our removal spells of choice, essentially. So we've got the Priest of the Haunted Edge, 2 mana 0/4. You can sacrifice it to give a creature -X/-X, where X is the number of snowlands you control. You can only do it at sorcery speed, though. So we're going to play this down on 2, and then on turn 3 you're going to murder something, probably. So it's a nice -3/-3. All of our lands are snow. You can kind of count Evolving Wilds as a snow land in that sense as well. Since, you know, it's going to be just fetching out snow basics. We also have 4 copies of Ravenous Chupacabra. This one is just straight up removal for creatures as well, which is quite nice. The only other creatures in our deck are going to be Tangled Florahedron, and this is actually a really useful thing for the Zendikar set, is that we can have land drops that are also creatures, so we can cut into our mana base. We're only running 20 lands in this list, and that's actually going to allow us to up the amount of creatures in our deck to make sure that spider spawning is more effective, as well as, you know, returning Acolytes of Affliction to maybe, you know, make a 2 mana 1/1 or a land, whatever we want to do with that. It's pretty cool either way. We also have a little bit of flex slots in here, 5 slots. Balaged Recovery is one of them. Again, it's in the land if we need it, but this can return a card from our graveyard to our hands. So what we could do with this is we can actually return Spider Spawning if we really want to. That way we get to use it twice. 1 for the 5 mana and then 1 for the 7 mana flashback. We're only running 1 of those though. Palaka Predation, again, it's another land, but it also allows us to strip our opponent of a converted mana cost 3 or greater hand card. What this is going to be is essentially the board wipes of the format, like Cry of the Carnarium, because that can really just kind of hose spider spawning. So if we can strip that out of their hand, fantastic. Same thing for Doomfall, but this also doubles down as a little bit of creature removal as well. Opponent exiles a creature they control. If there is the Demir Disinformation Campaign list, that does have a 4 mana 3/3 flying Death Touch hexproofing creature we can't target, so the Priest and the Ravenous Chupacabra can't do anything about it. However, Doomfall allows us to exile a creature they control, And I don't think they really run any other creatures, so this should hit that. And it also doubles down as a little bit of hand disruption as well, again, to pull out those Cry the Carnariums if we really need it. But yeah, that is essentially the list. Without further ado, if you do enjoy the content, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you've been playing in the Historic Artisan event, and maybe we'll come back for another video, because I do enjoy this format quite a fair bit, so maybe we'll do a double video. Who knows? Either way, though, let's get to the gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty, we go first. We have our spider spawning, and then we also have our mill and removal as well. So I think this is fairly easy keep. Got plenty of things we can be doing on turn 2. We don't have to do anything on turn 1, so the tap land is just ideal, essentially. And looks like it's going to be mono red. Okay. So pretty easy stuff to do here. I mean, we can drop down the Mire Triton to trade with the Dodger. I could also just go with the Priest of the Haunted Edge, being a 0/4 that could potentially pick apart our opponent's creatures down the line. I think is worthwhile. If they want to get in for that 1 point of damage, they're going to have to pay 1. Another Tinstree Dodger, okay. Well, they are going quite wide, which is less than ideal for sure. We're not really going to need these predations, so let's actually undo a little bit of the damage with a Mire Triton here. Only hit 1 creature on that. I think it actually serves me better just to have the 0/4 in play, to be honest, rather than sacking it to kill a Dodger. Yeah, if our opponent's just going to take an entire turn just to do this, then that's fantastic. Stitcher's Supplier, another predation coming down. We've not really hit our land drops, unfortunately. Oh, not the right ones, anyway. There's 2 creatures in the yard for spider spawning. Alright. So far, it's a 5 mana make some little ones. We've got a Chupacabra to kill one of the Dodgers as well. Down to 13. Just attacks alone is perfectly fine here. But I think it's worthwhile going for a Chupacabra to take out a Dodger here. Boop. And I suppose I might as well get in with the Stitcher Supplier. Our opponent's not gonna block anyway. And they're not gonna let me block either. Do I actually want to go with Priest kill anything then? Is it about time we started doing that? I guess so. Can't be blocked except for by creatures with haste. I don't have any, so it's just as unblockable. Yeah, I guess we'll kill it. Let's reduce some of the damage since we're not going to be able to block anyway. Okay. Down to 11. Opponent passes. We get another tap land. I kind of think we just go Balaged's Sanctuary here, and then we go for Acolyte of Affliction. Mill another 2. See if we can hit 2 creatures. It's land. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We just made a Balaged Recovery, a Sanctuary, whatever it's called, play. I'm thinking I go with a land here, so then I can go Spider Spawning this turn, or next turn, sorry, and then I'll work my way up to that flashback cost for the later plays. Let's get the pressure going as well. Should have probably been doing it a little bit more. earlier on. It's like if they trade a Dodger with a Maya Triton, that would have been fine as well, I suppose. Yep. Could really do with like a Gorging Vulture or another Maya Triton. Both of those giving him his lifelink is going to be... Oh, life gain, should I say. It's going to be really useful. Oh, thank you. Perhaps that means I instead... 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, I think instead I go for Maya Triton and then I'll just Doomfall a Tin Street Dodger. Gain some life, undo their last combat step. We got one creature in there. Exile a creature they control. Force our opponent to commit a little bit more. Maybe get some creatures in play that are not unblockable. So we don't really mind those in hand, essentially. I think this game's in the bag at this point. Put our opponent to 7. I don't even know if we need the spider spawning at this rate. Just our normal graveyard package seems to be getting us there. So we go to 8. I mean, maybe we're dead. It's entirely possible. Go to 7 with Tin Street Dodger, and then there's 5 mana remaining over 3 cards. I certainly think that the Maya Triton life gain is going to be relevant here. Yeah, it's not over. So they're going to get in there unblockable, maybe trigger some Spectacle, some Skewer the Critics. Like, if they've got triple Skewer, then we're dead, obviously. That'd be 9 points. Fanatical Firebrand. Okay, so we get in. We actually want them to kill one of our creatures here. Because we just get another creature out of it from the spider spawning. And those are going to be our blockers, so we don't need to leave anything back. I guess they're doing the math now on whether or not the Firebrand hits face post-block. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they need to actually block and sack onto a Maya Triton, I guess, or... Yeah, block a Triton, sack to kill a Triton. They go to 2, and we say spider spawning. Boom. 6 1/2s. Alright, we definitely have the go wide value. Our opponent, if they have a 3 damage burn spell, they just win the game right now. That's a 2 damage burn spell. Oh, they had it all. They actually BM'd me. Wow. They could have just saved some time. Interesting. Alright, well, next game. Okay, on the play, we don't have a turn 1 play, so it's a good excuse to use the Evolving Wilds here. Yeah, I kind of like this hand. It's not too bad. It doesn't have spider spawning, obviously, but don't necessarily need it right away. So turn 1, grab a swamp, sorry, and then after that, maybe do some Glowspore Shamans. That allows us to get another land. We can even put Florahedron into play later anyway. Let's see where we go from there. Pierre! How's it going? What are you doing? Alright, we're playing. Let's do this. Or maybe we're not. Nope, we are. Alright, swamp for our opponent into Serrated Scorpion. Alright. So maybe an aristocracy style deck. I could undo basically the damage that the Serrated Scorpion would do by just playing a Maya Triton here and trading off into it. Only 1 Vulture. Okay. Size of our graveyard doesn't matter until we find spider spawning though, so let's not concern ourselves too much with that. You know, Timorets. Awfully annoying. We're going to get the devotion down so that maybe Priest of the Haunted Edge can actually take care of it. Actually, that just seems a little bit better. I don't want to give my opponent even a slight excuse to use Timoret, so let's make them exile that. Maybe they're actually like mono black devotion. I suppose it's possible. Land and Bastion. Okay. Could go Predation, have a look at their hand, and then play Florahedron as a tap land. I don't really need to Priest the Haunted Edge, the token, but I might need to Priest something next turn. I think it's probably important that I find out whether or not their hand has anything nasty in it, like, you know, double Grey Merchant, for example. And there's a Fatal Push in there as well. Alright, so I'll play you as a land, and then we can do Shaman Priest next turn. So let's do that. Let's go Glowspore Shaman, hope to hit 3 lovely creatures. Hit 1 lovely creature. And if I put a land on top next turn, he's going to be... what? I'm playing Priest here, so I'm not really going to be doing double Gorging Vulture. I think I'd much rather have a chance at drawing Spider Spawning. So let's just leave that as it is, and we'll go Gorging Vulture. Alright. If near Deadlands. Waste of time. Alright. Sure. I'll trade it off. Doesn't bother me. Alright, tap land and Gorging Vulture. Come on, max hit here. Mill 4, gain 4. Gain 3. Okay, that's not too bad. We are kind of getting there. There's another Bastion. Glowspore Shaman for us. So currently Grey Merchant is draining for 4, which is not too bad at all. Let's go Glowspore Shaman. I don't know if they'd be the Cry of the Carnarium deck, so... Again, I want to just draw Spider Spawning, so putting a land on top doesn't really serve me much use right now. So let's mill 4. Heartless at the Gorging Vulture. They're actually doing me a favour, and I don't think they realise it. Ooh, a full 4 there. Alright, so drain for 4. I'm going to say no blocks. Oh, lovely. Alright, so in with the Gorging Vulture. And Spider Spawning. 13 1/2s. Seems good. We're at 20, and our opponent should be trying to kill us right now, and they're not. Okay, killing the Gorging Vulture, still serving to help me rather than hinder me. Let's just send it all in. Opponent's not beating us with combat damage here, so... let's try and set up for the win. We have lethal in 2 turns right now, and if we draw another land, we get, what, like 15 tokens this time. Sweet! Alright. Finally got a win in, and Spider Spawning looked pretty good. It looked very mediocre in our first game that we lost against Mono Red. But this one, we got the right amount of mills, and it just seemed to perform a little bit better. It arrived at the right time. I think if you got these in your opener, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird when you can cast it and you can only hit 4 creatures, but if you got the right creature count in your yard, it's very important that you do try and make that the case as many times as possible. If you got the right creature count, then Spider Spawning's pretty dope, but otherwise it can be pretty mediocre. Like I'd say there's probably about 8 slots in our deck that are not creatures, and any more than that is just asking to lose, because it's kind of like the Collected Company thing. where you need like at least, I think it's like 26 hits off of Collected Company to make it really worthwhile, because you always want to hit 2. Spider Spawning's kind of the same thing. We really, when we're milling with like Stitcher Supplier, we really want like 2 out of 3 to actually hit on creatures, which is why having the Florahedrons is quite nice, because it ends up being a land drop that we can cut from our mana base, but also a creature that we can mill over on the front side, which is really nice as well. But yeah, like our Doomfalls and our Predations, they're really our flex slots, in addition, obviously, to the Spider Spawnings. So, you know, I originally had Bloodchief's Thirsts in these places. I don't know. I kind of figured I would automatically lose to something like Cry the Carnarium, so being able to eat my opponent's hand seemed pretty useful, though. Anyway, let's go to the next game. Alright, opponent goes first. We have turn 1 tap land into untapped Glowspore Shaman or Maya Triton, basically. I think I'm okay with that. See what we're up against. A blue deck. Oof. I mean, technically this is really useful as a hand disruption, but I think I need to get off to a good start here with one of our 2-drops. And it can't really be Florahedron. Simic for our opponent. Okay. So let's make a land drop with Glowspore Shaman. We got some value already in our hand. Never mind. 3 creatures, though, is fine when we got a Spider Spawning in hand. It's just not exactly what I had in mind. This is a kicker list, and we've just drawn another Spider Spawning. So let's go with Florahedron into play and Florahedron land, I think. Plan on double blocking the Familiar, maybe. I don't know. I doubt they'll use it as a combat trick, but you never know. Put a counter on that, and your kickers cost are less as well. So I kind of feel like I just Doomfall their hands, because they're really getting greedy with the cards they've got here. So let's reveal their hand. If they've only got like 1 kicker, then this entire thing is kind of falling on its ass. Alright, well, there's a Rooster Drake, so I think I probably want to take that. Yeah, let's just take the Rooster Drakes here. I did want to play a Stitcher Supplier. Was that not possible when I tapped my Florahedron? I'm pretty sure it was entirely possible, but here we are. Yeah, manually tapped, and then the auto-tapper still managed to screw me, I think. Oof. I've got 3 creatures right now. Okay. Lots of damage. But let's go Maya Triton Stitcher Supplier and then fill up the graveyard. And then our Spider Spawnings should go wide enough here off of that mill. One would hope. Down to 12. Ooh, double Maya Triton. Gain some life. That's 1 creature. Only 1 black source here, so let's just go Maya Triton again. 0 creatures. I'm very good at Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you guys have realized this, but I'm an exceptionally good Magic the Gathering player. If the point of Magic the Gathering is to not draw the cards that you put in your deck. Block there, I think. Although, actually, as it turns out, this blocks it blocks more damage, and it also gets rid of the trample, so the Spider Spawning is going to be really useful, and now I just need an untapped land. I could not block with my Florahedron, but I'm fairly confident that, you know, eventually I'll stop being screwed over by the shuffler and whatnot. Okay. Time to start blocking. Are you kidding me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll just leave I'll leave it as it is. Okay. So let's go Stitcher Supplier, mill over, hopefully some more creatures. 1 creature, very good. 7 more tokens to block with. And I don't know if we get in for 3 points here, losing a spider. I don't think that really does much for us. Okay. Keeps on growing and passes up the turn. Lovely. Alright, Stitcher Supplier. Hits another spider spawning. So if we get another one, then we're making a lot of tokens. We are making, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 times over. Do I want to get in for 11, losing 4 tokens, though? I feel like that's not really a good idea. But this game is going to slowly get away from me, especially if they do draw Rooster Drakes. I guess I've got reach creatures, though, so maybe not. Into the Roiler token, redrawing. Okay. Still got 20 points worth of defense here, though. That's a pretty nice card. If it's not a land, I think hitting a Chupacabra here, getting rid of one of their big tramplers is probably what I want. And I think they realize that it's gonna dirtle into my favor, I think, because they can't really push through any damage at this point, and then once I've got a land, I just basically all attack, play spider spawning, all attack, play spider spawning, and then rinse, repeat until I win the game. Getting with the Stitcher Supply as well, I might actually, because if they ever block off one of them, then I get bigger spawnings. So, yeah. I think I am actually going to win that game. Weird. It started off really rough, but it started very badly for them towards the end, for sure. So, you know, just goes to show, if you get flooded in the beginning and you have horrible draws, chances are you're going to have better draws in the late game, and vice versa. And it looks like we had the late game under control here, so pretty good, pretty good. We're actually, I think we're 2-2 now or something like that. Not quite sure. Which is, you know, it's not exactly the best result, but I didn't expect much from spider spawning to begin with anyway. And we got ourselves a wonderful little Torolf. I absolutely love the borders on these. I think they're absolutely spectacular. Love them. Anyway, let's go for another game. Alrighty then, we're in. This looks like a pretty reasonable hand. It doesn't exactly have any of our removal creatures like Priest or Ravenous Chupacabra, but it's got lots of mill, land drops to potentially get us to spider spawning. I'm here for it. I think we've got a good chance of drawing some good cards, so who knows. Alright, so, opponent, what are you doing? Are you playing a land? Do. Oh, we are keeping, going to 6, and looks like it's going to be probably mono red. So Stitcher Supply is going to be really good. Spider spawning, if we can resolve one by turn 5, should be pretty good as well, because they'll be pretty much forced to snap off a lot of our creatures here, just building up our graveyard as we go. I do still need good hits from Stitcher Supplier, which, you know, I don't exactly have a good track record of that necessarily, but here we are. I guess they can have, is Spikefield Hazard, does that one exile when it destroys? It does, doesn't it? Ooh, wow, we had a really good hit. Well, I say really good. I would have kind of liked to draw these two, but still, 3 for 3 on creatures, that's ideally what we want to be doing with our mill effects, so pretty good. Shock my face. Yeah. I expect to see a fair bit of that. And then light up the stage. Getting a skewer. And a scorch spitter. They're only good if they can attack through. 1, 2. Wow, okay. Alright. So we are 6 for 6 on creatures right now. Bearing in mind, one of them could have been a land if it wasn't for the Zendikar double-faced creature lands. It's nice to see, right? I think I'm doomfalling my opponent next turn. I just want to draw lands. If I can just curve right up, then that's going to be really good. So I'm going to take a card from their hand. Uncrop Crasher. They can make anything not block, but I'll block with the other one. I think I'm probably just going to take Wizard's Lightning here. I just want to stop damage to face, really. And Uncrop Crasher Exerted is probably what they have in mind. It's a bad block, technically, on the Stitcher Supplier, but it does mill us over anyway. So that's really what we want to be doing. Maybe they just leave it be as well. Yep. Ooh, another Stitcher Supplier. We actually want to go with Glowspore Shaman here, though, because we have hit really well on creatures, and just putting a land on top means that next turn we can start spider spawning. Now then, 9. So it's 7 tokens off spider spawning now. I'm just wondering whether or not I start swinging and whether or not they start blocking, because obviously... Yeah, I get with one. I think it still stands to reason, like, if they make one unblockable, they're not really going to kill another, and even if they do, it's only 3 damage. So, I think we've got this one. I think Mono Red is dead. I'd say I'm happy with, like, you know, 7 tokens off of a 5-mana spell. Going wide and still having a board state that could be pretty good. I guess I don't really want to block with the Stitcher Supplier because of the land on top. Oh, wow. Well, I don't have to, so there's that. So let's get in with everyone. So we're going to rebuild a blocking force anyway. And, yep. No way the Crashers can push through that. It is honestly really awesome that these guys have got 2 toughness, because it just means that, you know, we can multi-block and keep a lot of the value for ourselves. You're going to have to do something, opponent. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to go well for you if you just keep holding back to block. So we go to combat first so that we generate more spiders. We go to 2. I guess they could have... Is there like a Cinderclasm they could be playing? I doubt they would, but I guess there's no reason to really commit into it. I'll play you as a land. There might be a sweeper they have, so, you know. I'm just not going to take that risk, I guess. I don't think it'd come back to bite us at all, but you never know, right? Lava Runner and a Ramanap Ruins. Wow, they didn't add that to the ban list? Interesting. Got banned in Standard before. Wouldn't surprise me if it was banned in Artisan again. I actually don't know what the ban list for Artisan is, because there's a link in the main menu that says click this link to find the ban list. So you go there and it takes you to Wizard's main page, and then it's got all the events that you can click on, and they've all got their links to a new page, except for Historic Artisan. That one is just not a clickable link. Absolutely wild. There's just a point where it's like things can go so horribly wrong that you just have to laugh at it, and yeah, it's just, I'll show you the button I mean, because we got our 3rd win as well, so that'll be our 3rd alternative art, Vega the Watcher. It's very pretty. Yeah, for more details on this format, including a list of banned cards, click here, and if you click there, it takes you to a website that makes the event that you're supposed to be clicking on very much out of the way, so then once you click that, you've got to go find it, and then once you find it, you find out that it's actually not a clickable link, and therefore you've got to do some extra Googling, so it's completely useless. Don't waste your time with this button. Maybe they'll have updated it before then, but until then, it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. Either way, I think we've got time for one more game, so let's go and do it. This deck's been it's been pretty reasonable, I'll be honest. We were 1-1 to Mono Red. That Mono Red player wasn't exactly the most aggressive though. But yeah, we've done pretty well. I'm happy. Final game. Alright. Alrighty then, on the draw, we've got a Glowspore Shaman on turn 2, which is ideal. Try and find us a land drop. It looks like we're going to be able to get to Ravenous Chupacabra on 4. Got a little bit of Acolyte of Affliction to find us some lovely tech pieces. I'm okay with this hand. It's certainly not the nut draw, but it should work out for us. Plains and Thraben Inspector. Do-do-do-do-do. Inspector Thraben. You like my rendition? I thought it was perfect. Alright. Gorging Vulture. So we're going to go with Glowspore Shaman. If I do mill over a land, I am going to put it on top. I'm still going to put it on top. We can play Florahedron and then Woodland Chasm, I guess. So our opponent's going in for some blocks. I think I'm... Who am I blocking here? Do I take the Thraben Inspector off the board or the Oligarch that's going to produce a 1-1? I think it's probably got to be the Oligarch. I'm sure they've got some sacrificial value that I can take away by just blocking here. Scoured Barrens. I do have Gorging Vulture as well to block the spirits, so it's not the end of the world. But it will take me some time to get there, I suppose. Let's do that, and that gives me Ravenous Chupacabra or Acolyte of Affliction next turn. I think I'm still going to go with the Gorging Vulture and then maybe the Balaged Recovery tapped here. Yeah, take some time to take some damage. And third Thraben Inspector. God damn. Opponent's very good at that. So, Gorging Vulture. Pretty decent blocker. Mills over 2 creatures, gains us 2 life. Let's get that Balaged Sanctuary in there. I don't think with 2 Acolytes of Afflictions that I'm really going to need the Sanctuary. So they sack their clue. Draw a card. This is probably my most anticipated card out the anthology, to be honest. And it's a 1-mana 1/2 that makes a clue. Wild, I know. What are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 1/2s for 5. Could do better than that for sure. Acolyte of Affliction can get me a land, but it doesn't let me play anything after that. You exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card... Yeah, I think I might just be rid of that. Let my opponent leave my graveyard alone. And then I'll trade Oligarch off with Ravenous Chupacabra if it's offered. Sir Conrad. It is indeed offered. So Conrad triggers, they get a spirit here. Oh, actually, hang on. This is, like, really bad for me, isn't it? It's, like, really bad. I'm gonna have to go with Acolyte of Affliction, get the Chupacabra to kill him, I guess. And hope I don't hit any creatures, which I didn't. Fantastic. Yeah, he kind of counters my strategy entirely. Really? I'll take that. Reason I'll take that is if they play another one, so be it. Yeah, I guess you can Dire Tactics, that's fine. I'm still trying to just get creatures in the yard anyway. When is a good time to use Spider Spawning? We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still. Could be 6 if I go for a little bit of an extra turn stuff here. If I go... I think I need to get rid of Sir Conrad. If I take an extra turn to get rid of him first. Perhaps our opponent goes all in. Mills a card. You don't really want to be doing that, but I guess it does deal 1 to me anyway. I don't know. I feel quite greedy by even considering Gorging Vulture as well. Oh, wow. That's a thing. Is we double blocking here? Going to 5. They don't have any more aristocracy style stuff here, so I guess now is the time for... Oh wow, all 4 spider spawnings. Now's the time, I think. Sanctuary Lockdown taps 2 humans to tap 1 creature, so they're never really going to push through. Whisper Squad allows them to go wide. Their blocks no longer look decent, so that's cool. 1, 2, 3 with Gorging Vulture, or 1, 2, 3... Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 with Acolyte allows me to put a land into my hand, and then we'll Gorging Vulture. Yeah, Maya Triton. So we want a land in hand. Let's just go with a Snow-Covered Swamp. Oh, I've already made my land drop. Bugger. Well, that's a punt. Good old memory issues. You gotta love them. Opponent goes wide. We might have a couple of chumps here, but we definitely have some profitable blocks. Haunted Witness. Yeah, how far do we go with this? Because I could do Gorging Vulture Maya Triton here, or I could just keep going with the spider spawnings. I kind of really... I'm honestly, like, we've already got our 3 wins. There's absolutely no value in winning again here anyway. So let's just go for it. That's 2 more creatures. It's mill 4. That's 0 creatures. Wow, that's the one I actually really needed to hit. Alright, so now it's going to be basically the case that I spider spawning every single turn for the rest of the game, and we're at 20 cards in our yard, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spiders every single turn. Guess we'll start with the spider spawning from the yard, because it's the most expensive. We maybe draw off the top and then get something tasty later. You're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures that profitably block right now, so that doesn't really do me much good. Can get in with the Gorging Vulture here, though. Yep, get a double block there, put another creature in my yard. Totally fine when I've got reach creatures. I don't have to care about the flyers anymore. Stitcher's Supplier. So this is one of those cases where I've got something off the top to improve my spider spawning some more. I think it's time that we get in with our 19 spiders. I'd probably get in with everything, to be honest. Yeah, let's just get the whole team in there. 22 attackers. The more they trade off with my non-tokens, the more my spider spawnings get worse. So we just put 2 more creatures in the yard, I think. They're at 6. Spider spawning. 16 more spiders. And that should do it. They need a board wipe. And even if they have a board wipe, they are still very much in trouble. I guess if they had some graveyard hate and a board wipe, or they could kill me through non-combat damage. Huh. Yeah, that actually, that kills me, doesn't it? That's wow. Because my tokens enter the graveyard and then kind of disappear. That's how that works. So, you know, there's a single top deck in their deck, I guess, that wins them the game and they just found it. Triggers, triggers, triggers. Yeah, I block if I die, I block if I don't. I die if I don't. Unbelievable. We were doing so well. Sir Conrad, actual silver bullet for my deck. I feel cheated. Let's go for another one. Alright, opponent goes first. We have removal into mill and return removal and removal. I like it. It works. Oh, here's hoping it works. We still need lands to make all of these plays, and that's actually the best land we could have drawn. Secluded Steppes, so maybe our opponent is playing cycling here, which means an early Priest of the Haunted Edge may or may not be useful. Desert Ceradon. I need to get these down early and make all of my snow plays, I think. Otherwise, like, Flourishing Fox is just gonna exceed the power of the Priest. We'll need a Chupacabra in its place then at that point. So Flourishing Fox in a cycling deck, this is pretty much their best card in the deck, so if we can remove them consistently, that's going to be great. They don't have Zenith Flare in this format, or they used to have it. They don't anymore, I imagine. And lucky for us, it appears as though we can kill the Flourishing Fox, which is lovely. So, number of snowlands you control is 3, so that's a -3 there. Let's get rid of that. Play Stitcher Supplier, and then another Priest of the Haunted Edge. So, if they got a land and they cycled 3 times, they have a 4/4, which keeps Priest away. But if we draw a land, then we can Priest it to death, or we can even Chupacabra it. So we've got options. Reptilian Reflection. Whenever you cycle a card, you may have it become a 5/4 with Trample and Haste. That's actually, like, pretty good against us here. I think I'm going to kill the Flourishing Fox. And then I'm considering maybe going with an Acolyte of Affliction so I can pull one back. Creature, nice. Yeah, I think we just keep killing their utility creatures, and then we'll hold a Stitcher Supplier to block the 5/4. Also might be worth going for maybe Gorging Vulture. That would open up a triple block, which is really useful. Valiant Rescuer allows them to go wide with a cycle here. Cast Out. Oh yeah, that's an uncommon. I think I chump. I think I try and make this spider spawning extremely powerful. I needed that land. So it's a bit of an oof. But let's chupe the Valiant Rescuer here. That means we can double block the Reptilian Reflection. Which again is something that we kind of want to do. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8 in the yard right now. There's a Flourishing Fox. We have a Chupacabra for that. Double block with a Reflection, so we're going to take none and then block with 2 creatures. So we're going up to, what, 10 creatures in the yard for spider spawning. I don't think our opponent can beat this card if they don't beat us quick enough. So part of me wonders whether or not I actually go Chup or spider spawning if I draw a land off the top. I could even go Gorging Vulture Priest. That's an option. We are in, like, full greed mode at this point, so... Embrace the greed. Play a Gorging Vulture, play a Priest. Probably able to sack the Priest and kill the Flourishing Fox, realistically. 2 creatures, gain 2. Now I can chump with the Gorging Vulture as well. Dranith Healer. Makes a 3/3. Yeah, I'm just kind of really in the I think I've already won category, so let's just absolutely meme dream this game. Cast Out. Sure. They're under the impression that is my only removal spell, which it is not. So we chump to get a creature in the yard, and then we'll choop the Flourishing Fox to make our opponent durdle a little bit. Maybe they actually scoop to this, who knows? If they got a protection spell, then maybe they keep playing this out. I don't know if they would. We will make this land drop here so that we can flashback the spider spawning as well, rather than keep it as a creature. And now we're just gonna put our opponent out of their misery and start spawning. So now they're digging for a threat. Absolutely zero value cycles is where our opponent will probably explode before we get to spider spawning, I think. Yeah. The whole upside of this deck is they get something into play and then all of these cycles do something. Right now, redrawing just means that they're eventually going to whiff off and... Oh, beautiful. Give me that spawning. 13 1/2s. Yeah, there is, other than a large creature that then gets a protection spell from green, even though we've got a black creature here to block, is basically their only way through our board state. We just win at that point. So, I guess if they had a board wipe, that would work, and if Zenith Flare is unbanned and I didn't know about it, then that would also be reasonable, but yeah, they're just, we got rid of all their payoffs, so their cycling just becomes garbage at that point, which is wonderful. But yeah, that is that's going to do it for today's video. So my overall verdict of this list is, I think it's fine. It's actually maybe low to mid tier 2, I guess. I'm not sure. There seems to be a lot of matchups where spider spawning just wins the game on the spot if you're not greedy with it anyway, like I am. I just wanted to maximize my tokens because, you know, I'm here to entertain, so winning is actually secondary. So if I can get more spiders rather than winning, so be it. You know, it's one of those situations. But yeah, I think if you're playing this optimally, you'll do better than I did, of course. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video anyway. If you do play Historic Artisan and it's not just for the cosmetics and then leaving, let me know what you played down below. I want to know if you've got any fun lists, maybe with some Historic Anthology cards that I'm not thinking of, like Thraben Inspector, I suppose, as well. But yeah, let me know down below. Other than that, though, really appreciate if you guys do hit that like button and subscribe. It really, really helps out the channel a great deal, so I really appreciate everyone who does it. Feed the algorithms. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm done appreciating, and I'm going to end the video off here. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful night.